Well, here we are. I'm over here before anybody. Let me comb my Let me comb my beard out a little bit. Ah, my beard looks catawampus. It's like combing out grandma's beard. Well, we got one person in there already, and it's Jim Reynolds. Hey, good morning, Jim. Spring is coming. I did a little spring thing yesterday at my place, and my God, the grass is coming out all over the place. The grass is coming back really good and thick, and um, all my Bradford pear trees are all bloomed out. American Outlaw. Good seeing you over there this morning, Eric. Yes, you have arrived. I've got a package coming in today. I ordered a, uh, a purple panda. I ordered the updated. There's a purple panda that has. Oh, they sent me a nice letter. In fact, they sent me a couple of gifts because I tried out their new purple panda. It's been around for a long time, but this new version of it is supposed to have more fidelity for moto. It's designed with moto people in, motorcycle blogging, um, specifically. And there's a nice lady. She wrote me a nice letter from the company itself, and told me that she would be available if I had any questions. That I could link back to her office over there, and she'd resolve any issues or anything for me. So kind of, I'll get it today. It already. I checked the mail. It said it'd be delivered today, be by 11:30. Well, we got a few people in here this morning. Moto, he's always got. Oh, to see poor Ray looking pitiful. Now he's not a wimpy guy. I mean, when you see Ray like that, he's a pretty tough dude. Hey, Angel Face. Well, you're here now, so do you have anything? I heard you talking about looking at a bike. You really enjoy doing that, don't you? Get out, do some tire kicking. You do a lot of buying. Me too. I bought a lot of motorcycles and passed them on. I've been burned on motorcycles too. I bought one from a guy that owns a large business in my county. And I did not know, but there was when I bought it from him, there was a lien. Hey, Cam, I never could get a title for it. I sold it for scrap. I had $7,000 in it, and I scrapped it out because I couldn't sell it. So I had a guy to scrap it out for me. He needed parts off it, so he bought it for scrap. Cam, I was watching a video that we did in Washington State back last November when you came in and joined my daughters. I had my girls there and my sister, and we was drinking tequila. My God. Oh, we was putting that tequila away. Um, it was good that you come in and joined us. They got the biggest kick out of you. That little Irish, her father is Croatian and her mother was Filipino. And she's just a lovely lady. Just, I mean, such a good attitude about life and some good people. No, yeah, you was teaching Old Mack English how to. I was telling the girls how much English I had learned from you. Well, that's what I had in the bike, $7,000, and I sold it for scrap. I got 1,000 for it in scrap. but I couldn't have it. See, even if I die and leave it to my kids, they could never title it. And so it was just wasted. It was just garbage. It was a beautiful bike. It was a Harley, but hey, you win some and you lose some. Yeah, we had a lot of fun up there at Kime in Washington. American Outlaw, I don't think, no, you was kind of down for the count or whatever. I can't remember what it was, but I don't remember you joined us up there on the live feeds we are doing from Washington State. But we just had a lot of good partying. But unfortunately, we got sick. It was a change of going from here to up there, and we got sick. After we was there about 10 days, we got really sick and I had to drive home sick 3,000 miles back home. Not 3,000 kilometer, but 3,000 miles. We had to go all the way down to El Paso. We've got a week of real pretty weather coming up, starting Monday. I think it's going to, by Saturday, it's going to be up to 79 degrees. I like the 70s. 70 is a good riding weather. If it's 74 degrees, I ride with just a t-shirt on. Um, and that's the way I like to ride. I like to ride with just a t-shirt on. Oh man, if I could, oh, let's see. Yeah, we have here in Alabama. Not only do you have to have a title, but you also have to have a bill of sale. Well, I had a bill of sale and I was able to register the bike, but I could never get the title because there was a lien on it. What happened? The old boy that owned it before me, he bought it new, and him and his wife separated, and she put a lien on him on the bike. The lien means that there's a fee that cannot be, you can't just pay the lien off. I got a hold of the state of Kansas and they would not allow me to pay the lien. The lien was against the guy and only he could pay the lien off, not me. And I explained to him that I couldn't get a title until the lien was paid off. And it make no difference in the state of Kansas. It's something about the divorce law or some community property or something like that. Oh yeah, you're right. American Outlaw. Let me tell you what I did. I had a street ride. There was a 1968 GMC, and it had a 650 horsepower, 502 cubic inch Pro Street engine. It was built by Tom Sally Chevrolet in Milton, Freewater, Oregon. You might have seen. I've got some videos of it. Um, so when I come to Alabama, I go up there. Alabama does not title a 68, from the year 68. So all I could have was a bill of sale. And so when my son turned 35 years of age, I gave him the street ride and he took it back up to where he lives in Indiana. And he couldn't register it up there because it didn't have a title. And we had to get the state of Alabama to notify Indiana that at that model, that from that those years did not require a title, only required a bill of sale. Well, they refused to accept Alabama's way of doing business. So he spent a year or so to get a title on it, and he finally was able to title it, but he had to spend a lot of money to do so. There's different states have a little bit different way of doing stuff. Hey, sick. Oh, Lolly's leaving. I didn't see Lolly leave. Oh, Okay, I'm sorry. I was busy talking. I didn't read the. Have a good day, Lolly. We're gonna go shopping here this morning. Gotta go get more cat food, and got to pick up some things. Um, we like to buy our meat fresh. I don't like. Rarely do I ever put meat in the freezer. I prefer to when I buy it, I look at the expiration date. Now, the other day, we had this big old beautiful steak, like it was a big Angus steak, and and it was past due date. And I won't eat meat after it's past the due date because there's all kind of chemicals in meat, and I believe after a certain due date, it starts to go bad. And in the old days, you could leave meat out hanging on a hook for a month out there in the smokehouse, and never have to worry about it. But today, the meat is all fortified with chemicals. And so what I did, I sliced it all up and cut it up in chunks. And I put 3 or 4 cups of rice with it, and I made a big batch. I took and put this in the raccoon feeder out there, the big pan for them. They eat every bite of it. There was several pounds. There was over a pound of steak plus. It was almost 2 pounds of steak plus 4 cups of rice, and they eat that whole thing. They loved it. And licked the pan. Oh, Cam, thank you very much for joining us this morning. I'm not ignoring you if I don't answer when you make a remark in the comments, or I just forget to look over there. I wish they was right here in front of me, scrolling up here. That would be nice. I'd like to see like something scrolling across. You know how you do closed caption, but we have to accept the parameters which YouTube gives us to work in. And brown chicken. I'm happy to see you there this morning. Man, I tell you what, when Buck Brown this morning was showing us the trucks all slid together, I had been out to the West Coast and I was coming home. I was driving over the road and I got up to East Memphis. There's a Flying J in East Memphis, Tennessee. Oh, maybe that's East Memphis, might be in Arkansas. I was right there close to the river. And I got in my sleeper. I had to get off the road and go into my sleeper lane. When I was asleep, the storm come raging in, a tornado, and there's a place called South Haven, Mississippi, which is right across the river from the Flying J. And that damn tornado went in there and killed so many people and blowed the trucks over. And when I woke up, the big Flying J sign was all blowed down on the tornado went over us. And I remember it rocking and rolling me in the sleeper. But it turned trucks over. That whole lot was just smeared. But it tore up that little place right across the river there in Mississippi. And so when I finally left out that morning and got over there and I crossed over from I-55 over to the old I-22, and I had to go through South Haven. I had to go around South Haven. That place was tore up. Yeah, we've been in some pretty serious tornadoes. I was down in I was going down through the middle of Mississippi on I-59. And when I was up in Tuscaloosa, they was talking about bad weather in Mississippi. And I was hoping I could make it to Picayune, Mississippi. I wanted to pull in and get supper in Picayune, Mississippi. And in fact, I think I was delivering to the John C. Stennis Space Center there in Picayune, Mississippi. If anybody's ever been there, it's a fairly large facility. And I cannot remember where the tornado crossed the highway, but it hit an 18-wheeler loaded full of plywood. And it blowed sheets of plywood for a quarter of a mile around there. There was sheets of plywood everywhere. And of course, it just wadded the truck up in a knot. And it crossed I-59. And really, I mean, it was a mess. Brown chicken's going to fire the Harley up. Oh, then in the state of Kansas, you have to declare community property. And what happened there, they entered the divorce. She, to get her fair share of community property, she had to put a lien on the motorcycle. And until he paid the lien, paid her the lien, paid the money that the lien was placed by the state of Kansas, then she couldn't, then the bike could not be titled. And he was absolutely refused. There was divorces can be ugly. They not all people are happy to see a divorce. I mean, sometimes it can be devastating, and people have anger issues, and it comes out in the divorce. Oh, I spent a lot of years being a mechanic. We built street rods and hot rods, and yeah, I wish I could give you a list of all the hot rods we built. My brother and I, we built some good ones. I had a 1939 International pickup truck, a little short wheelbase, 1939. Beautiful, beautiful little pickup truck. And we put a 383 Chrysler engine in that little. It had a little six-cylinder, but we put a 383 Chrysler torque flat transmission, 373 gears in the back, and that was a hot ride. I had a coupe, Plymouth coupe. It might have been a 1935 Plymouth coupe. It looked like a 35 Ford. It had five windows in it. It was a little coupe, and we put also a Chrysler 383 in it. We built a lot of Mopar stuff back in a long time ago. Mopars, you could get parts everywhere. We built a lot of race cars right out of the wrecking yard. You're gonna fire up the Harley right in the living room. Yee! Do a burnout like Sick did a burnout in his driveway out there. Just go burning around the coffee table. Well, I hear another human in the house moving around. She's getting herself all beautified so we can go shopping. It's uh it's warm here in Alabama. Um it's oh yeah, it's looking nice. I can show that to you. Come on, focus. There we go. 64 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm sitting here barefooted. Yeah, I saw Buck Brown, yeah, he lost his mirror and gonna have to have a big rig to slide them apart. Looks like his truck was trying to breed that little truck over next to him. You When you're out on the road out there, you encounter a lot of stuff. I think we was over there in Texas one night. It was just getting dark, and three young girls in a convertible car, they lost control and went down into the medium area. It was a V-shaped mirror and come up out the other, came up, and they was going so fast they went airborne and they hit a 53-foot box van, 53-footer right up towards the top. When they hit the side of the truck, they bounced off upside down and killed all three of them. And so when I get up there, they were laying out there on the ground. We were in the right hand lane and we moved past there, trying to open up a hole so they could get emergency equipment in there. Man, you have to wear that crap all night long. Them little young girls that were out there celebrating, having a good time, and they had a car that had a lot of horsepower, and they didn't have the driving ability, and they lost it. And I was crossing the Chattahoochee River there in Atlanta, Georgia, on I-285, and I see this big fire up ahead of me, and they was there's like 4 or 5 lanes wide there, and they were in the inside lane, and it was a 12 or 14 passenger Dodge van, one of those big Dodge vans. Six people, six, six people burned up it. Oh, they had the helicopter come in and try to, get the burn victims out, get them to a burn center. Horrible. You see so much stuff out there. Well, I hope he's, now Ray's going to do what Ray's going to do. Ray is a man that plots his own course. You can give him suggestions, but he's going to do what Ray needs to do in his own mind. Sometimes you go, well, you really should listen to me because I know what I'm talking about. Well, he will sort it out when he gets home. And I'm sure the Katie bug at home is not going to allow him to lay there and wither away. She's going to make sure he gets some medical help, if they both think it's ready. It wouldn't be bad to go just have yourself checked out, see why you're hurting in your side, and then make your plan to ride on down to the Forgotten Angels, if you're up to it. What sick? Did you get your finances secure to where you'll be able to go to the Forgotten Angels? You got it all worked out? I don't want to be asking any personal questions and nothing like that, but I I've offered you help in the past, but I understand you're a kind of an independent person as well. Um, I hope you get to go. I love seeing you down there, and it'll do you good as well because they like sick. Well, you got a award-winning smile. Yeah, guy's got to have enough of some chump change in his pocket so he could maybe like get him some weed or something, something to get him over the rough spots. Oh, great, man. I'm happy, buddy. Yeah, we probably go to lunch today. She laid out some things she said we could have for lunch today after we get back from shopping. But after I run around, I like there's a lot of really good places to eat. We have a restaurant down here in this area. It's called the White House, like in Washington D.C. The White House, and the White House is a buffet style. It's not a buffet. It's not all you can eat. You can go pick out what you want. You want steak and onions or chicken or pork chops and gravy or whatever you want. You got all that down through there, and you pick out and you pay for each of the items that you pick out. And like a Morrison's, there used to be a series of a restaurant called Morrison's, cafeteria style. I guess that'd be more proper. And you just pick out the things you want to eat. And it's country living, man. I mean, the place is packed out. It's hard to get in there. You don't want to go up there at noon. You want to wait till a little bit later. They make their own cornbread and all that stuff. Well, if you get down there to the camp out, you're going to probably find connoisseurs of that would be willing to share. There ain't nothing finer. I remember from my days, um, like when you used to share, man. Yeah, yeah. Uh, that's something that has to be shared. Nobody likes to smoke alone. I I sure went through a lot of gummies while I was up there. I was sick. I couldn't really enjoy. I really couldn't enjoy. Hey, Thomas Bailey. I couldn't enjoy my gummies as much as I would like to have. We had a good time while we was able to function. But when the sickness rolled in, it was time to roll out. I'm just happy that Buck wasn't hurt. Oh my gosh, there's so many beautiful blue jays out there. They're all lined up in the trees, and they're pretty courteous to one another. Now he'll come down and eat as much. They can swallow pretty good grains. A blue jay can. Now I'm feeding them cat food on the rail, and now he flew off a big piece in his mouth. See, they'll just wait as soon as he flies away, another one flies in. Yeah, everything is blooming out here, and up in Washington, of course, you can get THC. You can get um, uh, a gummy for every occasion. Some of them makes you sleep immediately. We did some Kush up there. This is that hybrid Kush. They used to call it a one hit. You know, you put it a little dab in there and light it, suck it down, and but all that stuff they call it in the cushion instead of in the cut. You know, in the cut, in the cushion, because it'll make you have the lead ass, and you'll sink right down in the cushion, and your legs ain't strong enough to lift yourself up out of the cushion. You get the lead bottom. Oh man, yeah, it's just something that we discussed the other day. It might have made a few people uncomfortable on the other page over there, on the other somebody else's. You hate to discuss things on somebody else's page if you think it might make them uncomfortable. But here you can't do anything to make anybody feel uncomfortable. Well, you know, you operate within your own behavior. Um, it's a shame that we're denied cannabis. You know, for those that need a little something to take the edge off, or need a little something to get them through the day, or to alleviate the pain, or maybe you're sick with chemotherapy and you haven't been able to hold food in your stomach for a few days and you're weak, and just a little hit on that, maybe a gummy. Next thing you know, you're eating, and you're not worrying about dying at that point. But no, they'll sell you all the pharmaceutical stuff, you know, where big pharma can make large chunks of money, and everybody's happy as long as everybody gets their cut. Your senators and your congressmen lives off the funds that they get from pharmaceutical companies to bring you all the latest, like right here. I give you a good example. Right here. That medicine right here for a diabetic, for a type 2 diabetic, boy, it has so many wonderful attributes. I mean, usually you read about a drug and it's got 900 things that will cause everything from your eyelids to droop to your fallen arches, your butthole won't pucker anymore, or whatever. But this thing has a small amount of side effects, and the only problem is one bottle of 30 is $398. Well, they gave us a price cut a year or two ago, and I've been on it for a couple of years. And then now, whatever they give you, they can take away. And they took away this, and this was helping me to survive kidney failure. I haven't taken any. I'm still alive. My color ain't starting to change. My eyes are still clear. But to be manipulated by, you know, the political structure, the pharmaceutical companies, when God gave us cannabis, man did not create, or he might have hybrid, he may chemically made it stronger by hybriding it, but and yet that's beyond. They won't allow you to have that because there's nobody gonna make no money off of it. That's sad. So I switched back to. They took me off another medicine I was taking because it was damaging my kidneys. So I had to switch back to that. Because see, one of the solutions to this old age problem we have a lot of old mofos like myself that ain't never going to die, and that's eating up on the system. These young bucks, they need the money, man. They gotta. If you're going to make America great, you got to have a wealthy country, and the only way you're going to have a wealthy country is eliminate old people like me. You get rid of them. You don't have to feed them. You don't have to give them any breaks. You don't have to do nothing. You know, just eradicate. And look at this. It helps Social Security. All of us that die, it puts more money back in Social Security. So If you take the medicine away from them suckers are going to die eventually. But I'm not going to let them take me out. We're going to live until we die. And that's a shame. To be like a puppet on a string is what elderly. If you want to make the young people mad, you talk about slapping grandpa around, and what you're going to do to him. If you don't do this, this is what's going to happen. I will, and I'll assure you, this is going to happen. Well, the young people go, sure, whatever you say. Don't hurt grandpa. Oh, I love grandpa. Don't hurt him. So they give in, and you get situations that occurs where they play on the average voter's sympathy at the cost of granddad and grandma. And they use us. We're the puppet on the string. And if you don't do what I tell you, I will cut the strings and let that sucker hang there on by just one string. See how long he lasts there. I'll put the screws to you, screwdriver. I'm gonna screw you if you don't do this. I'll do this for that. I'll let you have your grandpa for a few more years if you'll do this for me. And all the senators like, give me money. Give me money. I'll make the old people go away. Just give me money. It's a really a strange world we live in. I got a little discharge thing over on the wall over there. I did what my mama wanted me to do, is serve my country. She only agreed to let me do this, unlimited. She just gave my son, my brother before me, she gave a sacrificed my brother before me for the peace and security of the American flag. He died in uniform in the Army for the American flag. And she hated to let me put on a uniform, but she did. Good morning, wind of the night. Good seeing you. Oh, I understand. Well, I'm going to tell you, I have never seen the things that are occurring today to the American veterans, guys that just come back from Afghanistan. That was almost a 20-year war. Even though our death rate was low comparison to World War II or the Korean War or Vietnam, the, the deal is the psychological damage that occurred, as well as physical damage to the human body. And I'm seeing right now in Birmingham, they close them down. They closed down so many Alabama Veterans Administration hospitals here in this past week. Huntsville, Alabama, is just really they lost 900 government workers just one day. They sent them a text, a low life and mofo, goddamn low life and pieces of shit. Instead of a formal letter coming in, they got a text message that says you are now terminated. And they go, whoa. And they were doing great work for the veterans in the Veterans Administration. But hey, listen to this. Well, if you don't help us with this, we will take all the veteran benefits away. So don't mess with it. We can cut you off just like that. We give it and we can take it away. No, we work for it. No life in motherfucker. No, none of them people gave me nothing. I earned everything. I put my blood, sweat, and tears right there for this flag. and so did you, American outlaw, and all the other people that have served this nation in many ways. Maybe you didn't get to go and fight a war. Maybe you stayed home and you built airplanes and missiles and rockets and cannons and ammunition. You aided the war cause. You did your part as an American citizen to build this great flag. And when they start talking about taking anything away, I get so damned upset when they talk about we're just going to get rid of 900,000 workers. We don't need them. We're going to have a computer to do it all. I really get upset over that. Um, I'm having a Saturday for me is shopping day. We're going to go shopping. We'll probably leave out here about 11 o'clock, but um, we're going to go to lunch. There's been a couple places I like to try new places out. They opened up an Italian restaurant in a little town that there's no Italians live in it. But oh, I love it. It's better than Olive Garden. Olive Garden is like a commercial, Italian theme restaurant. We went to one in Coleman. It's over in the middle of town, over on the other side of the tracks. You you eat wonderful Italian food while you're there, cooked by Italian people, knowing how Italian people like their food seasoned. I enjoyed that so much. I gave them a great review and yep. And it's one of them just little fly by night places. It's not a fabulous Olive Garden sort of a thing, but oh my God, the pasta was just right. And yeah, I like to try. I like trying different places. Yeah, I'll tell you the one thing I like about Olive Garden is one of the things I like is the garden salad, the endless salad. We got a place down here. It's a pretty good drive from me. It's about 70 miles down here, maybe a little bit more than 70 miles. It's oh, what's the name? Easy. Wait till the train goes. We have a place called Ezel's. I think it might be called Ezel's on the river, but it's a catfish place. And they bring you an endless supply of hush puppies. And the coleslaw, oh my gosh, it is so good. And big slabs of catfish. You can get a whole catfish or you can get catfish strips, and it's cooked. It's a southern style. And man, I tell you, it is it's a great place to eat. It's just so far for me to drive. I don't know when the that was for me. I know American Outlaw. Yeah, I'm gonna see if you can see this over here. If I can stretch this out over here. Can you see that on the wall over there? It says right there, honorable discharge. There, little Angelique, come on over here, little over on this side over here. Oh, come on all up in here. All right, we've got Sick in here. We got American Outlaw. We got Wind. Uh, oh, they're here. Wind in the night. Um, Thomas Bailey is in here. We had Lolly. There's quite a few people that's in here. Um, Anyhow, we decided after we had the coffee this morning, we'd come over and we'd keep the thing,
Keep it going.
yeah, keep it going. So, have you decided what you're going to have for lunch?
I thought we were doing pizza.
Oh, we're going to get pizza,
Yeah.
right? Okay, all right.
Yeah.
All right, honey. You look like you're ready to go.
Yeah, I just gotta wash my face.
Get
First,
to
I gotta
sleep.
take Theo out.
Oh yeah, get my dog out of
I've
here.
already taken a little bit out.
All right, thanks. Yeah, she gotta take my little there's oh, I
Okay.
can't move the camera over there. Yeah. He's so big and wide, he just waddles when he walks. And oh, when if you're checking out on us, well, we're not gonna leave right now. We just, she was coming to let me know that she's getting ready to go. Not right now. I've woke up a lot of times back in my early years and eat pizza in the morning, whatever left over from last night. And back in the 60s, in 1961, 62, somewhere like that, a new company came out, Shakey's Pizza. It was new to us. We'd never seen it before. 1962, 61, 62. Shakey's Pizza bought in. When that hit the market, people loved to go to Shakey's. That's the only great pizza place I knew of at that time. Up in New York and places, they had pizza houses where you could individually own pizza places, but this was a big chain, Shakey's, and they had that Bock beer, that black bottom beer, Bock beer, dark. Oh, that was so good. And I used to get a gallon to go. You could get it in a jug, and you paid, you got a gallon of beer to go, and you take pizza home with you and eat it after you got home. Hey, Robert. Yeah, Shakey's. First time I went to Shakey's was in Chowchilla, California, and they had a player piano that played, and they had all the way around the place inside different great actors and stuff. It was a family atmosphere, and then when we saw our first Pizza Hut, I really liked Pizza Hut, personal pan pizza and deep dish pizza. And I used to, at the company, I would drive out I used to park inside and I would drive out and go over on Fridays and have personal pan pizza. And I did that every Friday, I guess, for 10, 12 years. And then they had a like a bar, a salad bar at Pizza Hut. And man, I would get that salad bar and man, you had everything. I hate to see that giant is going to the wayside. Oh, heck yeah. Now I tell you, we still we still love Pizza Hut. So I sent my daughter, we were eating inside, and I said, go over there and get us some package of the pepper seeds. Because in the old days, Pizza Hut on the table, you had the shaker, and you could shake some seeds on your pizza. Well, they got cheaper, and they moved it over, and you could open a little bag and sprinkle some. And then she goes over there, and she said, "There's not any over there." I said, "Well, go over and ask the guy for some pepper seeds. Don't surely they must have some pepper seeds there." And she came back, and she had this bottle right here. Why won't it focus? Come on, focus, you little devil. There it is right there. Red pepper. Okay. So she comes back and she got the, I said, oh, nice. They got it in a little shaker, a little mini shaker. She had to pay for that. I don't remember. It was quite a bit of money for that little container of pepper. And I brought it home and I shake it on stuffed pizza here. But boy, how times have changed. And I know we used to go to Arby's, and Arby's had what's called a horsey sauce. It had a horseradish in it, and it was stout. It was good. And now they've watered the stuff down to where it's just like mayonnaise with just a little tingle. It ain't like the stuff we used to have. The horseradish used to have some kick to it. It would take your breath. It would take the top of your head off. But times have changed. I guess I'm just at the age. I don't like change. Um, Stability, I do like. Yeah, crushed cayenne pepper. Yeah, little flakes, little, and some seeds in there. Um, I'm at the point in my life where I don't like change. I mean, I guess change is supposed to be good, but I prefer, things just go along business as usual rather than, hey, let's just change everything today. It's going to be so good, you're going to love it. Uh, so I like change. The only time I change clothes is when my woman, Angelique, she says, she'll say, "Whoo, you're starting to smell ripe." No, I don't let myself get ripe. Well, I'm really grateful you guys came over and spent a little time with us there. I know American Outlaw is going to be excited when he gets all of his parts started to get his project going. I've got a lot of things I want to do too. I see one of my facial boards out there. During the last storm, the storm came from the west, and when it came through, my facial board has cracked over there. It got hit and it has split. And I looked out there and that's going to have to all be replaced. So I can't get up on the ladder. I got to get my friend Joe. Maybe I get him to go up there and so I can change out the facial boards on that side. That's the west side, and it always gets all the storm comes this way. And get him to change that out for me. Yeah, we when we was young, we didn't have electricity till I was 12 years old, but we took a bath in a wash tub. I think it was a number three wash tub. It was a big wash tub, the standard size wash tub. Me and my brother Robert, we used to have to wash together because you had to heat all your water on the top of the stove. And in the summertime, your mama hated to heat the whole house up to get you hot water. Yeah, I already fell last year twice. I saw him. He's done several little videos. I've seen a little short. He was at the gas station the other day, so I know he's still out and about. He only lives about 70 miles from me. 70, 75 miles, not too far. maybe 80. We got some rain coming tomorrow, I think tonight and tomorrow, but it's gonna clear off Monday. And oh my gosh, 5, 6 straight days of 70, high 70-degree weather, possibly even to 80 degrees before the weekend. Yeah, he lives close to Fort Payne, Alabama. Now, I've invited him to go for a ride, but I don't. I'm not the. I'm not for everybody. He never could bring himself to go riding with me because um, I don't think he likes my riding style. But hey, I'm me and he's he. I don't, old Ray, he come and rode with me. Hell, we had a good time. But I'm not for everybody. I don't dilly dally, and I can cover a lot of ground in a short period of time. Me and Ray, we ran everywhere. The day he came over, we went from where we live all the way over into Blount County, um, to the Swan Covered Bridge, and left there and went had lunch, and then drove out in Coleman County over to Walker County, another county, over to see the another covered bridge, 300 300 something foot long covered bridge. And we were going to go to a third bridge, but we decided to call it quits that day. He had a long ride back to Georgia. I, I offered for him to stay over here in Coleman. We got, a lot of places to stay here. And, but he wanted to get on back home. And he made a really good trip back all the way back to home. But I had a most enjoyable day with Ray. He's a nice human being. We went out and had Chinese lunch. Angelique likes Ray too. She likes he's just a fun-loving guy, and yeah, we went. Yeah, we had just made a good day of it. Well, like I say, I'm not for everybody. A lot, you know, I'm an old independent guy. My buddy Joe, he rides with me, and we ride. We go everywhere. He's uh, kind of a hardy sort of guy that he likes all kinds of uh, things that I do. He likes to ride fast. I don't mind riding fast. I don't need to ride fast. I like to run along with the traffic. Oh, thank you, Thomas. I appreciate that. No, Ray Gregory. No, Ray Moto lives way up there in Virginia. He would be a fun to ride with as well. I've rode with some interesting people. I rode with the Heart of Dixie. It's a motorcycle club, the Heart of Dixie, and we rode for hours. And these guys were all riding baggers, and I was on a trike, and they was on baggers. And we're talking about very high dollar um, baggers. And we got over to a place called Oakman, Alabama, to a huge park. We were having a biking jamboree over in Oakman. And when we got off the bikes and everybody was getting started storing their equipment, and that group of bikers I was with, I was the only white guy in the bunch. These were big old black guys. The Heart of Dixie is not a traditionally a black guy group, but the black guys like the bagger, and they rode with me. We were doing the fist bump and everything, but when we when we started taking our helmets and our gloves and everything off, they didn't go, "Oh hell, shit! What you looking at now?" No, they were just. It was brothers, man. Just brothers riding with other biking brothers. No color barrier. And they rode hard. I ain't talking about the little pussyfooting around now. My track could not keep up with them. They didn't run off and leave me, but I had to work hard to stay up with them. And my track will run. It ain't a dog. It'll see the meter. You can take it all the way up to the top of the meter. Whether I would like to do that or have I ever done that, I would never admit it here on the air, but it will run. Uh, there's now I've got two blue jays eating side by side. Oh, now a robin. I wish I could. Now there's two robins on the limb and two blue jays on the rail. Man, they're having a feast out there. I went to a really, what the hell's his name? He's a black singer, but he sings country. I think he's deceased now. Um, we went to his bar in Austin, Texas, and we went over many times. I lived on the Austin Highway, really close to his place, within 25 miles of his bar. Charlie Pride. I used to ride over to Charlie Pride's place in Austin, and on Wednesday is food night, food and fight. But I'd go over for the food, and my God, what an entertainer! It's country, Western country. Uh, yeah, we learned to love Pearl beer and Lone Star beer. Because see, in Texas, if you want to make a Texan happy, you drink Pearl or Lone Star. When they wasn't around, when the Texans wasn't around, we'd drink Yingling. They go, that is so gay. Yingling. You can't even hardly say Yingling without raising your voice a couple of octaves. Blue Jays are so they're beautiful, but they got a musical note. They get out there and they sing and they call. When they start that whistling and making that noise, the other Blue Jays start coming around. Now we've been feeding them for quite a while, but for 20 years we fed them in regular feeders, but we concentrated on all the small birds. We fed thistle seed and all that stuff in bags. And then here later, we started to feed the larger birds because we can feed them cat food, and they love cat food. See, we were buying um, those black seeds. What hell was this? Anyhow, we used to buy various kinds of seeds for them. And we had feeders out in front and feeders all around, but we slowly done away with that. When the raccoons come and started eating out of the feeders, we took the feeders down and started. I put up an 80-pound feeder out here for the raccoons. We were doing $160 a month in raccoon food and the feeder for like 6 years. Olympia is made in Tumwater, Washington. If you look on the can of Olympia beer, um, yeah, from oh, you got to keep in mind that's only 3.2% beer. Olympia beer is 3.2, and that comes out of Tumwater, Washington. 2-4, man. So good to see you. And let me see if I can. Let me see if I can do this right here. If I can do this. This is Old Mack taken in 1941. The first black and white animation. There's no sound. Look at right here. Old Mac. He's 18 months old, baby Mac. That's a little baby Mac attack. You see, I got a full mouth full of teeth. I'm 14 months old. Watch me tear that can up, man. I was so strong, my hands were like little vice grips. Yeah, we only had talkies back. We had only silent movies back in the days. We didn't have talkies. Chasing Ghosts. Hello there. Yeah, we had two beers in Washington. We had three beers in Washington State: Olympia, Rainier, and Heidelberg. And those three beers were all down in Tumwater, Washington. And it was water from artesian springs, supposed to be in the most purest form of water. And you only get 3.2% beer in Washington in those days. Now you can get all kinds of beer content. You know, they got what they call microbreweries all over the state now. But in my days, when I was there, I drank a lot of Rainier beer. I like the dark Rainier, and I drank Ole beer because when you go to a party, sometime they would have nothing but Ole beer, Olympia. Sneeze coming on. Yeah, I was 14 months old. That was in August of 1941. The war didn't break out in World War II until December of 1941. And so I was 14 months old then, and I was 18 months old when the war broke out, almost 18 months old, World War II. Yeah, 3.2, and that's what it was at liquor stores. And when we lived in Washington, everything was controlled by the ABC, the Alcohol and Beverage Control uh, state stores. When we got back to Alabama, and it's 6% beer here in Alabama, and it would get the job done. Oh yeah, pollen. Oh, My nose has been running. I've been sneezing. We're fixing to go into our pollen season. Our pine trees, this whole area is all pines. You've seen some of my videos where I walk amongst the pine trees. The pollen will make your car turn yellow. You go out there, the truck will be completely covered yellow from front to back. Hey, Chasing Ghost, did you see Buck Brown's pictures of what happened to him in Texas with the windstorm? If you haven't seen his pictures, go check out some of the pictures he's posted. He showed us this morning on the coffee. This morning coffee with Motobomb, and it slid his truck right. I mean, broke his mirror off. The storm turned so many. I think he counted 5 or 6 trucks turned over in the parking lot. It's like that song. I can feel it in the air tonight. What was that? Was it White Lace or what was that song? I can feel it in the air tonight. Yeah, that's right. The water runs yellow. Oh, buddy, I'm gonna tell you. I used to have a swimming pool. I used to have a swimming pool out here for the raccoons. It's a wading pool. And I set the wading pool up, and I'd go out there in the morning, and there would be a skim of yellow on the top of the water. And I'd have to take and change that out, flush it out. The raccoons, it didn't seem to bother them at all. They like to get in there and waller like pigs. I'd have 6 raccoons in that pool on any hot summer night. Hey, thank you too for, and you know good and well who my vice is going to be. I'm gonna put you in charge of all vice in Canada. Bill Collins. When we came up, our best beer was what's called homebrew, and my mom was really good at making homebrew. She made brew for the family, not only our family, but for my grandmother. She would always put her a few bottles back for grandma of the homebrew. And when you pop the top on my mother's, she'd put them in magnum bottles, fairly large magnum bottles. You pop the top on that magnum bottle, and there would be a blue smoke come up out of the top. I'm not kidding you. We've seen it all with our own eyes. You pop the top, and that blue smoke would just rise up out of that bottle. Ah, dang! I'll tell you that stuff is good. Black and tan. Oh, and we've drank a fair share of Guinness beer. I really, to tell you the truth, I've been to a lot of Oktoberfest. You know, um, Up in the Northwest, there's a huge German population. You got to keep in mind, Washington State was pioneered by the early explorers were German immigrants. And when they came into Washington, the family name was Meeker. And when he arrived in Washington State, the first thing they did, went back there in their wagons and began to plant their hops. And they were in the Yakima Valley, and they planted hops first. They stopped in Yakima Valley. Then they went across the Natchez Trail over into the western side of Washington, and they started growing their hops all the way from Olympia, Washington, through the Kent Valley, and I mean 100 miles of hops. And as we got older, my brother and I, we went to work at a hop farm, where they grow hops. Hops grow up on an 18-foot tall vine, and they put wires overhead, and they run string up there, and the hop vine climbs up the top, and you got to harvest all those hop vines and take the hop flowers off for the hops. Oh, Angel Face, glad you're back. We've just been sitting here talking about beer and the good things in life. Oh yeah, up there in I married a Scandinavian from Moorhead, Minnesota. That's up in your neighborhood. Moorhead, Minnesota. I married a Scandinavian. That's Norwegian, Swedish, Norwegian, a little mixture, Scandinavian, and she was quite a Scandinavian for sure, from Moorhead, Minnesota. And you ain't going to guess what her last name was. Her last name was Moorhead. Her founding fathers founded Moorhead, Minnesota. Bunch of Swedes. Cold beer and hot women. Woo! I was attached to the 287th Engineers. Yeah, 287th. That was attached to the Third Army. The 287th, I was what's called Engineer Supply Point, American Outlaw. Our unit, what we did was we staged all of the military's armament. We were a staging point. We had operations in Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri, and there was a couple of three bases that did the staging. And if you needed 300 back in the day Sherman tanks, we could give you 300 Sherman tanks, load them on a rail car for you. If you needed a drag line equipment, besides some kind of a dredging equipment, for the Corps of Engineers, we were the supply point for the Corps of Engineers. We were a combat group, combat engineers assigned to the combat engineers, but we were the supply point. We was one that made sure you had all the equipment you needed to go and build a runway or to build a canal or whatever. I liked all the equipment. When I got out, I went to the West Coast. My first job was driving a D7 Caterpillar tractor. My brother and I started first, and the company needed a second driver. So I told my brother, I said, "You want to drive a Caterpillar tractor?" And he said, "I don't know how to drive one." I said, "I can show you how." So we go out there, I don't have one at home to show him how to drive when we got out there on the job. Well, we was there an hour before the foreman came in. And so I got up there and I showed him your clutches, your hand clutches, your foot clutches, your shifter, your big hand clutch. You got your steering clutches and your hand clutch and the pony motor. I showed him how to start the pony motor. I had to do all this within that 1 hour. Now, the learning how to drive and how it feels when you start rolling and all that kind of stuff, I said, you'll have to sort that out once he gets here. So after we got there, the foreman came over and he said, well, I'll tell you what I want you to do to my brother. He said, take that cat over there and go down there and hook it up to this. It was a piece of leveling equipment. It was 65 foot long, had a 15-yard bucket in the middle, and you used it as a land plane, they called it. He said, go down there and hook to the land plane and bring it up to the shop. Well, there, my brother ain't never drove a cat a day in his life. So you go, he pulled that starter. Didn't have an electric starter, had a hand starter. Started that little 2-cylinder motor up, and I showed him how to engage it in gear, and then the smoke started coming out of the stacking, and he got it started up and hopped up on there. My, watching his eyes, and his look in his eyes was sheer terror because he never drove anything this big in his life. I think it weighed over 100,000 pounds, a D7. And he takes off down through there. Boom, 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 boom. Well, he's learning all the way down. He had to go about a quarter of a mile down there to get the land plane. He learned how to drive in that quarter of a mile, left, right, steer, how to brake, all. And he got down there, backed it up. Then he had to hook it up and everything. And he come dragging this thing back up. And they had these 6-foot tall wheels. The land plane was 65 foot long, but it had these 6-foot tall wheels, 4-foot wide rim, big old flat steel wheels. And so they wouldn't make much of a footprint. And he come driving up through there. Oh my God. What, how that's to learn how to drive and just, that had to be terrorizing. Well, I see the little girl. She came in here. I'm looking at the clock on the wall. And I'm thinking that she is implying that she is ready to go. But I hate to leave when so many nice people are in here. You guys get a chance, look at the little short I did. I used, let's put it this way. I took a still picture. I, I took this picture right here and I turned it into a video. I turned this little picture right here into a video. This is baby Mac, 18 months old. And the technology we have today, I would never believe that I could make that little baby come alive. See in that picture, you don't see no teeth and you don't, his little hands. The technology they got today, I was able to use our modern technology and change that little baby that's me, into an animated object that has a realistic human-like look to it. I was amazed. But nobody else was amazed because it was been up for the last 12 or 14 hours. I think it got 6 views. And well, Angel Face, you can see the video on my short. Since you're on Old Mac, just go over at Old Mac on YouTube, and there's a short down where it says short. There's the little baby. I'm not trying to, I'm not interested in points or money or none of that kind of stuff. We're not doing it for none of that stuff. I just like to explore technology. And you could, anybody can do that. Oh, by the way, everything was cable back in our days. We didn't They had hydraulics and some stuff, and they had electric starts. Most of them had pony motors on them, and, yeah, and the cables, oh, Robert, he put in so many hours on that machine. Yeah, it's just the technology. It's just exploring technology. I've heard about it, and had the opportunity to try it, so I created that myself using technology that's available today. And there's so many things you can do. I've got one where I can make you say anything in the world. It will actually listen. If I have a audio of your voice, I can take your voice and put it on a duck's coming out of a duck's mouth, and the duck will be moving with your voice talking, or whatever. All that stuff is available. And at 85 years of age, I never thought I'd ever see the day that we'd be able to do that. And you folks, you young people, hell, we do that all the time. Hell, that's been around for over a month. So I'm just learning stuff. Angel Face, I've got to say this. I was so grieved about the attitude towards the Canadian people in this aspect. Ever since World War One, the Canadians have always been beside the American. All my uncles fought with Canadian soldiers. My uncles, they fought in every war, including the Vietnam War. I had relatives to die and were horribly wounded in Vietnam War, but they fought with Canadian soldiers. Every skirmish, they are beyond a doubt our most valued partner in keeping a democracy alive. And I get so grieved for any disparaging words against my neighbors. I love the Canadian people. And never, I don't want anybody within the sound of my voice that can see us truly believe that we as American people love the Canadian people. We make fun of your A and all that kind of stuff, take off, Hosa, because we all watched John Candy and Second City TV, SETV, we learned the funny side of Canada. But Canada are beautiful people. They're just like any other country in this aspect. First of all, they will try to make you feel good about yourself. They're courteous and polite people. We have a lot of rudeness in America. I was born with it. I have also displayed many samples of rudeness myself. And we just, I just can't imagine having any disparaging words against our neighbors. It just boggles the imagination. And I'm going to tell you, our neighbors to the south down there, if you need a hospital built in Alabama, they can build it to you. They can build that hospital in a month. It takes to get all the different laboring groups together, 6 months of planning, a year and a half of this, and maybe 6 years from now, we might get your hospital started being built. There's people that are working human beings that serve the world through their labor, like soldiering people. We serve society by providing peace and security, but we don't use our army to make deals with. If you don't do this, I will do that to you. You don't take my soldiers, my relatives, and use them as some kind of a political bullwhip. That's just my opinion. Oh, all society, you have the element in that society. I'm speaking generally, the people as a whole are kind and courteous people. Look at Kime, for instance. Kime over in England, just a kind, gentle human being. Our history came from a divided when we separated from the king through a revolution. But we was not raised up to hate the British. We were British. My grandma was a British. Her whole family were British. In fact, during World War II, not in World War II, I'm sorry, during the Civil War in America, a lot of British people was rounded up in this country by the Confederates, and they was punished because they was afraid that the Southern British people of British heritage would side against them with the North. Um, I can't remember what that was called. Tories. You look it up yourself. You want to see a little bit of American history. Look up the Tories. The President Jefferson Davis of the Confederacy sent out troops to kill anybody suspected of being a Tory. That would be British people, because we may ally with Britain and join in with the war against the South, all that kind of stuff. We were just loyal American people. So there's a lot to be learned about American society. Yeah, our ancestors were like treated like trash here in the South because of my grandmother being English. She came with the crown. She had land rights from the Carolinas, and they finally moved from Carolinas down into Alabama. But uh, they were so afraid of the Tories. You know, there was a political party, the Tories, and we were loyalists. We were loyal to our country, America. See, America comes first, and your political party comes later. Before that is God, and then your country, your family, and way on down the line somewhere is the party. That's just my take on it. So many changes. Some of them it's hard for me to take. When I see the American veterans being used like a puppet, if you don't do this, here's what we're going to do to the vets. We're going to do this to the vets if you don't do this. What is that called? Quid pro quo? Quid pro quo? I can't even say it. This for that. You do this and we'll do that. And if you don't do this, we will do that. I don't like living under their thumb. I don't like it when people put their thumb on my neck or put their boot on my back of my head. I don't like that. We was not. Our our family was not Tories. Don't get me wrong. What I'm saying, it was a political party that was they advocated. They was pro British, and our family was just Southern people, was just trying to get by. We were sharecroppers. We were what was called indentured slaves. My family, not my grandma, but my other side of the family, sold themselves into as an indentured slave to come to America to help America to be great. My ancestor did, sold the whole family into servitude. They had to come and serve out 5 years of labor in America, 10 years, depending on what contract you made with the British. You could come over on a ship and get over here and start building America. And then the revolution took place, and they was afraid that those people would hold to the old British ways. But Kine is a kind human being, and I have a tremendous amount of respect for him. We have no hatred towards none of that. That's history. We just got to let it go. I saw yesterday, we have an airplane called the B-29. And in World War II, it was a tough war. Millions of people was killed. Millions, not hundreds of thousands, but millions was killed. And we have this B-29 built by my company. I got a picture of it on the wall right there. And it flew over Hiroshima and it dropped a little nugget out of the bottom. And a week later, it went to Nagasaki. And it started the atomic era. And the name of that first plane that dropped the first bomb, Paul Tibbets, named it after his mother, Enola Gay Tibbets. The low-life mothers, the goddamn low-life mothers, the mothers that we have today to take the name off the airplane, the Enola Gay, because it was DEI inspired. Hell, they didn't even know what the hell a DEI was in World War II. He named it after his mama. The goddamn lowlife are going to take the name off of a historical airplane such as the Enola Gay, the one instrument of war that stopped the aggression of the Japanese people, helped to bring the war to an end. And the name of the plane was the Enola Gay. And because it's got the word GAY in it, it has to have some kind of underlying DEI terminology attached to it. God damn, I tell you, I will be dead and I won't see this new society that's being built and formed as we speak today. I won't get to see it to the end. But it doesn't stop me from having feelings about where it's at today. And I didn't bring you guys over here just to give you some kind of a rumbling ass bullshit and anger issue about things that's going on today. But if you can be mad about traffic or be mad about various things that's going on in your life, for God's sakes, don't let them take, we watched them take away statues and stuff that was part of history. But to take the name off the Enola Gay, it was allowed then, and it should remain a part of history forever. We this is bullshit times we're living in, and there's so many people that's falling for it. They're just lining up like the goddamn friggin' lemons, little lemons. They're just following along, and when the cliff gets there, they just go right over the edge, just right there, down they go. Just swarms of them, just going over the edge. In America, they're dragging their flag down with them. When you start attacking, they want to do away with history. History. I know in the previous administration, there was a lot of that stuff was going on, and people raised hell about them doing away with our history. That is also history. That helped keep the flag flying right there. With that, before I make people mad, and it will, my words do make people mad. I'm hoping it makes you mad for the right reason, like don't be a lemon. Don't get sent over the edge in some kind of a phony belief that you're going to make the world better by eradicating things that you don't like. Yeah, they found a guy at Fort Bragg. His last name was Bragg. And they did the same thing with Fort Benning and several other forts. They changed. I mean, does that make America any stronger by changing the names? You know, don't be a lemon. Don't go over the edge with them. There's a lot of insanity going on, and don't get swept up into it. Think in your head. And if you want an issue, let's work towards getting the price of eggs down. Let's. Did you see? I'm gonna tell you what. I'm gonna show you how goddamn much ignorance they are in this world. Up there in Washington D.C., the most ignorant of all people that said to you, they said today, they just came out this week. If you want to alleviate the situation with the eggs, we suggest that you start raising your own chickens because they see chickens lay eggs and you can have all the eggs you want. How goddamn stupid can that be? How are you going to raise eggs in an apartment building? How are you going to raise chickens in an apartment building? There are millions of Americans live in apartments. They don't have the free ranging, huge estates and all that stuff. Another thing, most people wouldn't even know how to raise a chicken. They wouldn't even know how to skin a chicken, boil it, get its feathers off. They wouldn't know how to singe a chicken, cut it up, slice it. Ah, that is not a solution. We have an issue, a health issue with the birds. And if we help speed this process up, work with the people, the scientific people that can aid in getting our food chain back where the eggs can start being produced again by healthy chickens, we'd be doing the right thing. 150 million chickens murdered, just had to kill them because they were sick. I mean, people say, "Oh, how do you know they were sick?" That's just what they said. When a guy's got 75,000 chickens in his pen, my cousin has three of the houses got 75,000 each, and they had to kill the biggest portion of all those chickens because they tested positive. They themselves do the test. My cousin tested chickens. He didn't take some department head up in Washington, D.C.'s word that his chickens need to be killed. Perfectly good looking chicken. No, they were diseased chickens and they killed them. Now Biden didn't kill the goddamn fucking chickens. Don't hand me that bullshit. The farmers had to kill the chickens because it was killing their cash crop. That's how they make their money. No, everybody wants to put it off on somebody else. Let's face up the reality. There's a problem with our chickens in this country that can be addressed. Don't tell me start raising your own chickens so you lay your own eggs. Yeah, if you ever walked in chicken shit in your life, and you go out there in the yard and you got chicken shit everywhere, and the chickens picking all the feathers off the other chickens, and the chickens they're horrible little creatures. They're horrible little creatures. Oh, they look cute. They lay little eggs. The eggs taste so good, and you fry them up and they eat real good. But we have a manufacturing facility that processes chickens. We got to get back to clean, healthy chickens. And let's work on that issue rather than telling me to start raising my own chickens. I ain't worried about the spreading the chicken from a human. We're just worried about spreading it from another chicken. If you got, like with my cousin, he grows chickens for the Tyson Corporation, and he turns over a lot of crops year after year of turning over crops. Don't you think that hurt my cousin to have to go out there and have to kill that many? You don't even know what it's like to have to process 100,000 chickens. You don't throw them over in a sack. They got to be processed. They can't be just. They got to be burnt. They got to be gotten rid of. And I get so damn mad when they start handing me bullshit stuff on how to resolve an issue. No, work with the people in the right positions to eradicate the disease that's affecting the chickens. Back in the old days, a T Rex or one of them big old dinosaurs, You probably missed it the other day, chasing ghosts. I was doing a little video, and I came into this wooded area, and then I said, "This area right here historically was real famous for the Bigfoot creature." But that was a long time ago. But the rednecks bred all the Bigfoot out now, and all we got left is the rednecks. Gun toting rednecks, man. Drinking whiskey out of a jug. I've had gators deep fried. Uh, yeah, there's so many good things in life. There's so much goodness about life. If you don't believe it, just look out and see the birds eating out there on the rail, or look up at the trees and listen to the songs that they sing. And can you imagine the size of a drumstick on a T-Rex? When I was young in 1953, we had a lot of chickens on our place. And a tornado came and blowed all the chickens into the fence. They were fenced up chickens, and blew all the chickens in the fence and then blowed all the feathers off their back. That's right. American Outlaw, you said a good mouthful right there. Uh, my job, my mama took Vaseline and I think mercurochrome or whatever it was, and she mixed it up. She knew how to do this. And I had to rub it on the backs of the chickens because it was summertime when the tornado blew all the feathers off, and their little backs was burning, and until they grew the feathers back. And I had to go out there and grease the chickens. Had to, or a laying chicken had to put some grease on the back. And finally, the little feathers started coming back, and we lost quite a few chickens, but those that survived, they were naked there for quite a while. And my job was, she made her own version of suntan lotion, Vaseline and mercurochrome or whatever, and it worked. I can't remember what she used to call that stuff, but they would use it for everything back when I was young. Oh yeah, they chickens will peck one another to death. You cut the beak off, so you cut the top of the beak off, and you go in there and you got those that's the peckers, the ones that does the serious pecking. You cut that beak off. Now they have to scoop up the food with that bottom beak, and it's awkward for them to eat, but they can eat. But yeah, they got a little tool that can nip those sharp beaks off so they couldn't pick the other chickens. A lot of a lot of things. Well, I see my crowd's dwindling down. I've made almost everybody angry. So, it's, hey, you can't win them all. And you're phony when you come on and just play the game and talk the words that you want to hear. Um, that's a way of life. That's how people have successful blogs. They talk only the talk that you want to hear. It makes you feel good and warm and fuzzy all over hearing the words that you want to hear. But sometimes they're going to be words that you ain't going to want to hear. It's called the truth. Not everybody is agreeable to what their version of truth is. They have been so beaten in so many ways that it's alternative facts. It's not lying, it's just alternative facts. There's the truth, and then there's alternative facts. Well, with that, she has already said she wanted to go. Oh, when you get older, you rant more than you do when you're young because so many things sticks in your craw. I got really upset about the Enola Gay. I had a good I lived in an area in Chowchilla, California, and he become a good friend. How we become good friends is he was a world-class rodeo star. He rode wild broncs at the rodeo. His name was Dunny Gay. Dunny Gay was one of the best. He ended up on ABC Wide World of Sports as a sportscaster on rodeos. Dunny Gay, many times world champion. And he used to race on the same track. He rode horses, but in his spare time he raced go-karts. And I used to have a go-kart that had twin McCulloch engines on it, and we run them on fuel, and they was really, really fast. And he had a really fast machine. And Donnie Gay, he lived in Chowchilla, California. That's where we lived. And today, I'm sure he's going to have to change his name because that's going to offend somebody. The insanity's got to stop. And it's up to everybody out there. Just don't repeat the stuff, you know. Don't get caught up in all that bullshit. All right, love each and every one of you, and thank you for coming over and visiting Old Mac. And we'll be back here again one of these days, ranting and raving again. You never know. God bless you. Old Mac loves you. They don't love you because you agrees with me. You can disagree with me, and most people do. That's your right. God-given right. God bless. Good morning.